Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people, where we speak about critical issues in the blindness community and all other issues from across the universe and galaxy. There's a great friend in our community by the name of Michelle Benzikowski. You'll learn about her soon. During our conversation, we were talking about all the people I should interview, and she said, there's this guy named Clint Aiken. And I said, are you talking about Clint V Aiken? And she said, yes. Apparently, and I know it's true, you have quite the story. From my heart to yours, from your heart to the world. Who is Clint V Aiken? I'll give you an hour and a half. Tell your whole story. I'll mute. Go.
How you doing, Aaron? Basically, Clint V Aiken is a man that was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, May 4th, 1984. I ended up going blind, January of 2013. Been blind now for past 13 years. And to be honest with you, I'm just a person who don't let anything stop me. I'm not afraid of anything, been through so much, but at the end of the day, at the same time, so little, because every day that I learn, more people I know, basically it's more people out there that's dealing with more stuff than I'm dealing with. So, me going through kidney and pancreas transplant, February 7th, 2015, me having all of these surgeries and all of this stuff, and me just recently, getting over norovirus because I'm a transplant patient. I feel like I've been through a lot, but when I talk to other people and hear what they've been through, I just tell myself, okay, you doing good. But a little bit about myself, how I ended up going blind. So 2012, it was late, the fourth quarter of 2012, and basically, I received a text message from my little cousin Sheila, and it was her mother. Uh, it was a picture message. I saw her. She was her face was wrapped up, and me personally, I'm gonna be honest with you, I just, something snapped in me. So me personally, I told her to come pick me up. Um, came to Miami to pick up my cousin, and we headed to Orlando to see her. And on the way up there, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people don't understand when people say God is good and God will try to humble you and stop you. Basically, on the way up there, I'm driving. I don't have a driver's license, and I'm driving in the middle lane, driving the speed limit, and a state trooper put us over. And I looked at my little cousin and told my little cousin to, excuse me, I said, get to your mother. I'm going to go to jail. I'm used to this. But get to your mother. And I told the officer the truth. Look, man, I don't have a driver's license, but we have an emergency. So he put me out the car, put me in handcuffs, and told me stay right here. And he asked my cousin some questions, and he took me out of handcuffs and told me, "You don't drive, you drive." We got up there, and just go keep it blunt with you. When I walked inside of the the hospital room, I looked at my cousin and said, "Where the motherfucker at?" Because me personally, same person that did this to her, I wanted him to do it to me because I'm a man. She's a woman. So, after that, ended up coming back down to Fort Lauderdale. And again, God tried to humble me again. My left hand was itching, my right hand was itching. And they always told me, if my left hand itch, I got something in the mail. My right hand itch, that means I'm getting some money. So I rubbed my hands together. I said, let me go check the mailbox. Next thing you know, boom, went to go check the mailbox. I look inside the mailbox. It's a check from the IRS for $9,999. And I just, be honest with you, I called everybody in the world. I said, how does a fake IRS check look? And they told me to hold it up to the sun. If I see U.S. Treasury, go cash it. My exact words to everyone was, you come cash this shit. I'm not fucking with these people. So, long story short, end up cashing it, going back to Orlando, and next thing you know, on the way up there, girl asked me why I'm coming up there. because I met a girl off the tag, and she told me I had her come from Orlando to come pick me up to bring me back to Orlando, and I told her what I was planning on doing. She said, "Don't do it," and I had made up my mind. Basically, really didn't have anything to live for. My mother died. My mother was dead, and I was going through so much trauma to the point where I just was like, this is my one time to take everything I'm going out on one person. So I went up there with the intents to physically harm him and take his life. And to be honest with you, Aaron, man, he thought my little cousin in the mouth twice. I looked at that and something just hopped in me. And, I just would have fought him. But my cousin came in between me and him. Next thing you know, boom, drunk 2 cups of Kool-Aid. And the little devil jumped in my head and said, come up here and do what you was finna do. Like, no one up there knew I had a gun on me, but he was planning on walking my cousin to work at 12 o'clock. He used to get back there like 12:10. And I took a 2-hour nap at 10 o'clock, woke up 12 o'clock. I couldn't see. So I was blind, totally blind. And I did panic, but I realized I was not dreaming, that basically something was wrong. So I ended up going back to sleep. When I went back to sleep the next morning, I woke up, I was visually impaired. I had sight, but I could barely see. So I hopped on train, came back to Fort Lauderdale. Ended up going to my dad's house, and next thing you know, like 2 weeks later, I woke up one morning and boom. I don't know if anybody know the character Bane and Incredible Hulk. It felt like they was fighting in my head, and they was punching the right side of my head, trying to get out of my head. And I dropped on the floor and went to punching the side of my head. My dad came and said, "Boy, what the hell wrong with you?" I say, "Tell it to stop. Tell it to stop. Get this shit out of my head." Next thing you know, my sister, she ran in the room, ended up taking me to Dr. David Dahlia office. And he looked at me and my sister. He did laser surgery on my eye. Looked at my sister. She had on a pink Nike shirt. And that was the last time I ever saw. So with everything being said, he told me and my sister if I would have came to him one day earlier, he would have been able to save my sight. Told my sister to take me to Bascom Palmer Eye Institute. They did laser surgery on my eyes twice and gave me an eye tap where they stuck a big ass needle in the back of my eye, shot some medicine back there, and gave me a shunt in the back of my right eye. So with that being said, how everything went, they told me, sat me down in the chair the last time I saw them, said, "Mr. Aiken, I think you'll never see again." And it was very depressing, very hard for me, but I think my brother, Leroy, he came into my room every day talking to me, and, we just went to clean up my room, and he asked me what I wanted to do with these little Levi's I had. I said, keep them. He said, why? I said, because that's my motivation, because by then, the dialysis, the kidney failure had started kicking in, and I started gaining weight. It was one point in time, I weighed 396 pounds. So, but, with my brother, I was gaining my confidence back. By him talking to me, yes, I did cry. I cried a lot, and he was right there. So, I have to thank him a lot. My sister Katavia, because if she wouldn't never took me to the doctor, I probably would be dead from the pain that was inside of my head. Got to thank my brother Jonathan Lane, because I'm gonna be honest with you. Basically, he's a big factor in why I continue to go, because that's my little brother. My sister Sabrina Aiken, my sister Katoya Shorter, my brother Tavares, and all my brothers and sisters. Like I told my sister, especially my brother Isaiah, he's my protector. So at the end of the day, You know, that's my oldest brother in Florida. Like I told my sister, y'all the reason why I keep going. Because at the end of the day, I don't know where the hell and what the hell I'd be doing without my family. I'm very family orientated, so with everything being said, you know, after everything was said and done with that, to be honest with you, I ended up on dialysis for a year and a half, and it's crazy because like I was on dialysis, and you know, the number 7 is the number of completion. Anyone that's godly knows the number 7 is the number of completion, because it took God 7 days to create the earth. You know, like there should be light and all of that stuff. So I was sitting on my bed one night, and next thing you know, boom, my phone. I had an iPhone 4S. It said incoming call 777 777 7777. So me personally, I touched my phone again. It said incoming call 777 777 7777. I said, what the hell? I said, Clint, that's the number of completion. So it's a big what if with that. So I say, Clint, boy, if you pick up this fucking phone and God say something to you, throw this phone and run. So I double tapped my phone and I said, hello, and it hung up. Me personally, now I'm panicking. I'm like, what's this just real? Next thing you know, like I recalled the number and said, this is not a working number. So still to this day, 13 years into blindness, I tell myself now, I say, I wonder if I wouldn't have picked up that phone, would I be dead or alive? With that being said, man, you know, like, I did get off dialysis February 7th, 2000, February 6th, 2015 was my last day of dialysis. February 7th, 2017, you know, having a transplant. And ever since then, I have been, I have been, I have had my foot on the ground running with my head held high, my chest out. And it's just so much. Like I've been through the transplant, everything. And like I tell anyone, a lot of people ask me what motivates me to keep going. And I say, I really don't know, but all I know is this here. I'm trying to be successful in life now, because when I was sighted, I was in a lot of trouble, going to jail a lot, getting in trouble. I was a very smart kid, but you know, when my mother died, this year she'll be dead 21 years. So she died March 24th, 2005. So when she died, I fell into a deep depression, and I started getting in a lot of trouble, going to jail and going to jail, going to jail, going to jail. And I ended up moving to Tallahassee, Florida, and still going to jail because I was a wild child. And I'll let anyone know, God saved my life by taking my sight. Because I tell anyone, if I still had sight today, I'd probably be in prison, or I'd probably be dead, because the way I was living my life. I didn't fear anyone. I wasn't scared of anyone. No one could tell me nothing. I was very arrogant. I was very ignorant, because I didn't want to grow. I didn't want to learn. Now that I'm blind, I'm very open to learning, very open to growing. I'm very open to a lot more things. People could actually talk to me. I listen to people now. So with me being blind, I do tell people a lot. They ask me, do you want your eyesight back? I say no. A lot of people say why? I say because if I get my eyesight back today or tomorrow, I don't want to turn back into the person that I used to be, because the person I used to be, I was very complacent with the life I was living. I was very complacent with basically getting in trouble, going to jail. Listening to, don't get me wrong, music is good because I have a morning therapy ritual that I do right now. I ain't gonna say ritual, but morning music process that I do right now. I listen to music to clear my mind, to ease my mind. Well, back in the days, I was listening to the music that was getting me in trouble. Like, I still listen to that music still today, but I just don't get in trouble. So yes, I wanted to be a thug. Not wanted. I was living the thug life. I was the street dude. I was the hood. I was the hood figure, and I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to leave that life alone. So now, don't get me wrong, I still listen to that type of music, but now that music, it motivates me like a Lil Boosie, like for real. Like his music now, it motivates me like a Trick Daddy. His music now motivates me, and like I tell anyone, if I could talk to Lil Boosie, I tell Lil Boosie, man, keep doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, man, like, your music motivates people like me. He's a diabetic. He's openly told people that he's a diabetic. He's openly told people he's had issues with his kidney. He had kidney cancer. And when he talk about what he go through, it made me cry, dude. His music now makes me cry because at the end of the day, he's been through so much. I've been through so much. With him being a diabetic, I don't want him to go through nothing that I've been through with the whole blindness thing, the whole kidney failure thing, with the whole dialysis thing. Because, like, man, like, his music, it touches me, like I say all the time. If I could talk to Boosie right now, tell him one thing. Listen, man, like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep making the music. Keep up with your health. And, man, like, I don't want nothing from him, no type of money. I just want to have a conversation with him and let him know what I've been through. And let him know, man, look, man, keep your health up. Now, Clinton V Aiken, now, I encourage people to get their eyes checked, get their health up, to literally do better about life, to help people. Because there was one point in time, like I said, I wanted to be successful as a blind person. So I was working towards being a blind person that was successful financially, until I ran across an interview with, the very beautiful, great Michelle Obama. And she said, success isn't based upon how much money you have. It's based upon how many people you help. So when she told me that, I started viewing things differently. I started trying to help as many people as I can. So, you know, um, if I could help anyone, I help them. As far as Trick Daddy, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's my favorite rapper. First Tupac, then Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy, he's very open about what he go through with lupus. And, when he talk, I listen, because a lot of people view him as a person that say what's on his mind. Yes, he does, but he's a very smart person. And his music touches me because at the end of the day, he's been talking about, in most of his music, like America, he talks about, the blind and everything, and now I'm blind. So at the end of the day, I listen to a lot of his music, and like I say, if I could talk to Trick Daddy one time, I tell Trick Daddy, man, keep doing what you doing. Don't let nothing stop you, man. I tell him straight up, man, I eat Sunday Eatery every month. So that's his restaurant. So I tell him, keep on, doing what you're doing, and seasoning them reels, because, man, you feeding people's soul, but your music talking to people also feeding their soul and keeping people on their toes, and just helping people, man. Like, but for the most part, man, like, Clinton V Aiken, man, like, I'm blind now, and I have a lot of friends that sighted, and They ask me all the time, how is it being blind? Well, it's okay being blind, but like I tell them, a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people think this blind community is very united. Like when I tell them this blind community is far from united, it's a lot of drama in this blind community. They don't believe me. Like I tell them, like I won't say that I'm one of the most hated people in the blind community. It's just a lot of people don't like me because when I got in the blind community, I used to run with the wrong crew. People said things about me, put rumors out on me, out on me, and me personally, I'm gonna be honest, I just don't give a fuck because the way I used to be, yeah, I would address it. Now I just let people talk because that's me growing in life. That's me learning that every what's the saying? Every uh, every something don't every I forgot the name. Well, I forgot the saying. But like I don't respond to everything now. I just let a lot of things go in one ear and out the other. You know, man, like this blind community, like I try to explain to people, us as blind people, if we got on one accord, walked in step, basically we could be heard all around the world. But now we can't do that because at the end of the day, it's like you have people that don't like people that never saw each other. People that don't like people because of what someone said. People that don't like people because basically, okay, like of this or that. Like people that, want to be tough and gangster and thugs and stuff. How you want to be all this and you can't see? People that, the biggest thing me about blind people is like how you out here like and you hurting women. Don't get me wrong, I had my fair share of women in my life that I hurt, but each and every woman that I hurt, I apologize to. Like I can't be out here doing what people doing, hurting women and stuff. And hold on, hurting, hurting women, hurting women and stuff, and doing all of this right here and doing all that right there, and like, all of this weird shit. Because man, like I just can't do it, man. Like I barely talk to anyone in the blind community. I barely call anyone now. I stay to myself because, man, like I tell people, you'll never catch me. What's going on? You'll never catch, like I tell people all the time, you'll never catch me walking with a crowd of people because at the end of the day, like if it's a crowd of 100 people, none of them go snitch on me. If I get into a fight, 9 people ain't gonna help me. So I'm by myself. So I travel alone. I walk alone. I'm by myself all the time because I can't snitch on myself. If someone says something to me and I have to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going to run. So I'd rather be by myself rather than be caught with 100 people that ain't going to help me. So at the end of the day, but I help anyone in this blind community, outside the blind community, like, this February. It's about to be February. So me personally, like, I just said inside of a group that I'm in, if 3 women that's single that um do not have a Valentine come at your name, if you fall up under that, well, if you fall up under this category, come at your name, and I'll give you $50. I didn't do that for no type of hype or anything. I did that because, you know, I'm a giver. I rather give than receive because at the end of the day, when I give, God blesses me with what I gave, um, time tenfold because at the end of the day, like I'm a big believer in God. And real big, huge believer in God. And with that being said, like, sorry about that. I had to let my dog back in the room. But big, huge believer in God. And with that being said, man, like, a lot of people wonder why everything I've been through, I came out on top. Transplant. A week later, they had opened me back up to do a bowel obstruction. 2019, I had a hernia repair. Just in November, I was hospitalized for 8 weeks. I almost died from a blood infection. I've been through so much, norovirus and just everything. And I know it's some people inside this blind community that counted me out, that wish I was dead. That's on God's time, whenever I die. To people that like wish death upon me, I ain't gonna say fuck you, but I'm gonna say, man, long as you don't like me and don't want me to live and talk bad about me, God ain't gonna bless you. Because at the end of the day, like I tell people, I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect. I try to be Clint. I try to live my life. I try to help people. I try to enjoy life. I try to, get my life right, get my health right, get everything right. Because, one day I do want to end up getting married. And, I know I can't get married if I still have the same demons and stuff lingering on me from years ago. So I just try to do right about people because, do people do right about me? What's going on? Right. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. But people do right about me sometimes. Do I care? No, because at the end of the day, as long as I got life inside my body, I ain't gonna treat people how they treat me. I'm always gonna try to do better. Quit talking to a lot of people because that's the maturity in me, that's the growth in me. And, I just, what I've been through in life, the blindness to everything, like I tell people, life is a big, huge learning lesson. You go through things to learn from them. So you do not repeat what you've been through. You don't go through things in life so people could literally judge you and hold what you've been through over your head to bring you down. You have to learn from everything you've been through. And, that's why 2025, I almost died a couple times. Last time I was in the hospital, I told myself 2026, do right, do better. I met Michelle Benkowski. I met Aaron. And now this is my second podcast interview that I'm doing. And I do plan on creating my own podcast called Blind But a Boss Podcast. Because, I do call myself Mr. Blind Boss. Because everything I've been through, I bossed up with it. Like I tell people, I've been in the boxing ring with dialysis. I knocked dialysis out. Diabetes. I knocked diabetes out. High blood pressure. I knocked high blood pressure out. High cholesterol. I knocked high cholesterol out. Kidney failure. I knocked kidney failure out. I've been in the boxing ring in so many things, but my biggest opponent is blindness. Because some days, I ain't gonna lie to you, I wake up, I don't feel like doing shit. I can be honest with you, I don't feel like doing shit. But I wake up and I tell myself, I got to do this, and I get in the boxing ring with blindness. And when I don't feel like doing shit, blindness hit me with a 1-2 combo. Only thing I do, I let Blindness know you ain't gonna beat me, and I hit him with an uppercut, and I catch him with an overhand right, and Blindness go back and sit his ass down somewhere, and I say I got shit to do, and get on with I get on with everything I need to do. So with that being said, man, like I just try not to let anything stop me, you know. Um, I know my mother was blind for 7 years. My dad, he's deceased. Before he passed away, he went blind. I'm the only blind person in my family. I have a lot of brothers and sisters from my dad. I have one from my sister. One from my mother, one brother from my mother, my other sister from my mother. She passed away before I was born. Excuse me. So with that right there being said, man, like I try to keep a smile on my mother and father's face in heaven. So as I'm blind, because I know they wouldn't want me to give up. Um, like try to motivate people because it's not that motivated. My family motivates me, inspires me, but a significant other, no. Like, I'm really beginning to think that I have like a dark cloud of me that tells blind women, hey, don't date him or something. But me personally, man, like, I don't know. Anybody that know me, I'm I'm a very generous man, meaning if I'm in a relationship with the woman, she's not going to have to worry about nothing because I'm very old school. But, it's the rumors and what people said about me, the rumors and shit that keep blind women away from me and people telling people I'm broke. And my biggest thing about dating in this blind world, the blind community, is 95% of blind women don't want to date a blind man because two things. Three things. One, he can't see. Two, he can't drive. Three, they think they broke. They think he's broke. And like I've told a lot of people, I can't see, but I do have a vision of how I want my life inside of a relationship. Inside a relationship, I don't worry about me. I worry about us. I can't drive, but I guarantee you I could drive you crazy in a good way. If something ever wrong, I can get you to wherever you need to go. Because still to this day, my family, they tell me I'm the blind king of Ubering. Because if I need to get somewhere, guess what? I'm going to get there by literally hopping in the Uber or Lyft and taking my ass on. Like, prime example, the 23rd, tomorrow, that's my nephew. That's my nephew's birthday. I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale. The 4th, that's my brother's birthday. I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale. Like, I don't ask people to come, hey, come pick me up. No, I hop my big ass inside of an Uber or Lyft and I get there. But another thing, the last thing, they think that blind people are broke. Like I tell them, if you think I'm broke, come find out. I'm not broke, far from broke, because at the end of the day, not that I'm rich, but anything, but I've been a hustler all my life. So trust me, if I can't get it with my big Social Security check, guess what? I'm gonna find a way to get it because I've been a hustler. Um, you know, Real soon I do have a YouTube channel called Blind Boss TV, where you could find me talking about blindness and all that stuff. I'm actually in the process of revamping that. I'm about to get ready to shoot a documentary about my life with my cousin. He gets here today. He flies in from Atlanta, so we can start the whole process. But for the most part, like I'm a very talented person when it comes to life. Like I said, I've been a hustler. My dad taught me the value of a dollar from a young age. I used to wash cars as a child. Still wash cars today. Do everything that a person that can see do. Wash cars, work on cars, fix things around the house, uh, just do everything. Travel, do everything. I love to travel. I love to cook. I love to just have fun, listen to music, all of this stuff because it keeps me out of trouble. One thing I don't want to do is get into trouble. I'm a hopeless romantic. Excuse my French. I'm just a hood nigga. But I'm trying to get that out of my system. Not the hood, but like the hood always gonna be here. I'm trying to get out of the hood and live better. But at the end of the day, wherever I live at, I was born and raised in the hood, so it's gonna be in me. But I'm a hopeless romantic, meaning, I'm a very romantic man as a blind person. I've been that way. Um, Being blind is just very hard to find a woman that likes a blind man for being a blind man because 95% of the women, I won't say 95, I say 75% of women, when they look at me, they say you're a very handsome man, but what can you do for me? It's more than the financial when you're dealing with me because at the end of the day, like a lot of people fail to realize, I know how to please someone mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, healthfully, sexually, financially. I'm believing spending time with someone, communicating, comprehension, all of that stuff. Because, that's just the fruits of life. You have to go through that process, but, you know, that's not Clint summed up in a bottle, but that's most of my life right now. And I'll keep building upon my life, everything I do every day, because at the end of the day, I just want to do better. From me going blind to everything I done did, um, me going to jail, me wanting to kill that man for putting his hands on my cousin, God taking my sight, just everything. I try to do better now. I try to live life better because, a lot of people, they talk about tough shit, but like I tell someone, toughest shit I had to deal with was still being placed upon my hands and my hands being behind my back, me getting arrested. I've been to jail in Miami-Dade County, where I live at now, Broward County, where I was born at, Orlando, that's Orange County, Tampa, that's Hillsborough County, Jacksonville, that's Duval County, that's my second home in Florida, Tallahassee, Leon County, that's my third home in Florida. At the end of the day, all I know is that when I got arrested in Orlando, last time I got arrested in Orlando, because my cousin, I was driving her somewhere. I was in school to be a automotive technician, UTI, and end up going to jail. So I had to drop out of that school. But last time I went to jail, I was driving my cousin somewhere, and police got behind us, and I had to went to church that Sunday, and I knew I had a bunch of warrants, had like 8 warrants. So, and I just cried and I asked God to clear up all these warrants. And a couple of days later, I was driving, and next thing you know, boom, like that, he hit the lights on me. I just remember looking at my cousin. I said, "Cuz, I'm going to jail." She said, "No, no, 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 you ain't." And I said, "No, I prayed for this, cuz I got a lot of warrants." And I said, "I'm tired of running." And I could have lied to that police officer, but I didn't. And he asked me my name. I told him my name and didn't have my driver's license on him, but I told him my driver's license number. He went back to his car, ran my ran my name, and came to the car, said, "Mr. Aiken, I need you to get out the car." And he said, "You have a couple warrants." I said, "Yeah, I know." And next thing you know, he went to the police cruiser and He just explained everything to me, and I asked him. I said, "Can you help? Can you make sure?" I said, "Listen, I'll do everything you want me to do. I won't. I won't run. I won't. I won't resist. I just need you to make sure my two cousins get home because my cousin, at the time she didn't have a license, and I said she don't have a license, but my little cousin, he about to get sick. He got cystic fibrosis. That's why he coughing. And I say, I really don't want him to get sick. I said, it's gonna kill him. But I asked him. He said, all right. So he cleared the way for them. I said, one more thing. I said, please don't put those handcuffs on in front of my cousin. I said, I really don't want him to see this. They left. And he said, you know what time it is. He clicked me up and took me in, and I just had time to think. Um, like I tell people, going to jail, worst thing ever, because they treat you like shit. They talk to you like you ain't nothing. You get 3 hots in the cot, like 3 hot meals and a cot to fucking sleep in. And I don't think anyone deserves to be in fucking prison or jail, because prison is the worst. I've never been in prison, but do have a lot of family in prison on my dad's side. So with that being said, I spent some days in Orlando, Orange County, some days in Hillsborough. Spent one day in Jacksonville, and Stark County was the worst because I'm not racist at all, but I ran across some racist motherfuckers in Stark County that just made me not want to ever in my life go back to fucking jail. Like, I like to the point where like I was just I know, but I don't even want to talk about it because it's just like I don't know, man. Like the shit that I experienced Stark County, Florida. Like big white boys, instead of calling me Aiken, they call me nigger. Hey, nigger, are you hungry? So I looked at them and just like, I said, oh my God, this shit is really happening. But like, I end up spending 2 years in Leon County. And like I said, I just had the time to think. I just asked God. I asked him, I said, if you get me out of this, God, I'll never get in trouble again. And a couple years later, I offered to kill someone, and a lot of people wonder why I end up losing my sight. Because I told God I'd never get in trouble again, but here I am, 2012, about to kill someone because they hit my cousin. So, you know, that's that's I ain't gonna say all of my life, because like I told y'all, every day I wake up, I'm grateful for another 24 to live. I'm adding more to my life, and that's my past right there. That I try to allow my past to strengthen me now in the present, so my future could be better. But
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
everything okay?
Of course. Of
Oh,
course. I think I got to tell you, I think that's an absolutely perfect answer to my question. Who is Clint Aiken, right?
yeah,
We've heard a lot of stories here on the podcast over the years, and yours, just like many others, is truly touching and truly fascinating. And really, the most interesting part of your story is your maturity, your willingness to realize the mistakes you've made, and your willingness to move forward in life regardless of that. A lot of times in my own life, and I'll tell you that I grew up completely differently from you, but every word you said today already spoke to me as a person. And I just, on one hand, I can tell you from my heart to yours, I really appreciated everything you said completely because it really did speak to me. It truly did. I can totally, envision you in a boxing ring when you said that boxing part. That was really brilliant. You're really, the most interesting part of you, apart from everything else, is that when you say, you have 99 problems in life, the only problem, you have 99 other problems. You don't want blindness to be your problem. In other words, you're not going to allow blindness to dictate your life and to dictate how you're going to live. And I just think that's so wise and so great. It truly is. Truly is. Um, you know, yes. I mean, I'm sure that God has a plan for every soul on planet Earth, and I'm a believer of that. I really think that God realized that you were going down the wrong path, and He wanted to change that for you. So I think that proves the existence of God, certainly, and that proves that God loves us all, right?
Right, right.
The willingness to realize, well, if I don't fix Clint tonight, if he doesn't go blind tonight, he's going to kill this guy, and then we're going to have a serious problem,
Yeah,
And in society, that would obviously not be the right choice. The greatest sense of rebellion or the greatest sense of getting back at someone or the greatest, I guess the greatest emotion that you can use to describe what's going on around the community, right? Is if you don't like somebody, if they don't like you, how should you respond to them? You should respond to them in the spirit of indifference. And this is something that I try to practice in my own life. I don't love you. I don't hate you. I would tell the person I'm indifferent. And that's the response. You're indifferent to people who deserve indifference. And this is a very deep concept, this whole concept of social indifference to people. It's neither about I love you, and this is marked as explicit, so I can say what I want because you said what you want. It's not about I love the person. It's not about go fuck yourself. It's about the fact that you're indifferent to the person. And that's a huge social thing, right?
yeah,
Is that, all these other weirdos around the blindness space, and trust me when I tell you, there's a never ending cycle of characters around the community who will never like you and who will always complain. No matter how much wisdom you give, no matter how much love you give, there are always people who will always complain and will never get it. I've dealt with people in my life like that too, where I say, well, maybe if I do this, well, maybe if I do that, well, if I just tweak this, change this, notify this, there are just some people that truly are never going to get it no matter what. And
right,
so because of that, then you have to say, well, to those people, I'm indifferent. And to everybody else who's on my side, I'm with you too. But the
right.
difference between the two is that you have to discover, and the trick of self-control is, well, at what moment do you use indifference? At what moment do you move forward? And at what moment do you move back and complete something that you need to complete? Well, if I knew this answer, then I'd be able to help you. The only problem is I have no idea. In my own life, there are things that have happened that I still don't agree with, still don't understand, and still want to solve, but will never be able to. And the fact
Right.
is, that's life. Part of life is overcoming the greatest mystery. And that's what I tend to think about, the meaning of life and why we're here in the first place. It is to learn. It's to love. It's also so our soul can go through the journey, the cycles of life, not to get too spiritual as if you haven't already. Everybody has their own belief. Some would say you only live once. Others would say you keep living. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. I think, each lifetime is interesting for each person. And I think the soul in the path of the soul is a very interesting thing to study, right? To understand
Right.
that when we make certain choices in society and in life, what would have happened if I hadn't done that, right? Well, what would have happened if? The if is the most interesting. It's
Yeah.
not a matter of the fact that we do or do not do things. The most interesting things that have happened in my life are the things that were either out of my control, or they were things that I didn't get to do that wanted, or they're things that never happened. And I always wondered, well, what if? So the point of life is to keep loving people, to keep making the right choice, to just put your past behind you, put your ass in the past and be the boss of tomorrow. And
Right.
you get it. You get it. There are so few blind people who are there getting it. You got it. You got it. I'm incredibly impressed with your story, and it's all true. And I'm incredibly impressed. Um, and not to mention the way you tell it, man. You speak from the bottom of your soul. That's you're so fun to listen to, and so many people will relate to you and will love you. And you need to know that you're loved here in the Aaron's Opinion family. So as long as you're welcome on this podcast, then I want to say, please create your own, because you can definitely keep helping the world, and that's the most important thing. You
Oh,
know.
that's gonna happen, Aaron. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like I told Michelle Binkowski, whenever I do create my podcast, I want you and her to be one of my two first, my first two um guests that I interview, because y'all gave me my first two interviews inside the blind community, because I've been waiting on this opportunity. So like the whole I have 99 problem being blind ain't one. Like I asked someone asked me, said, what does that mean? I said, if I worried about me being blind, I wouldn't worry about every other problem. I would not be able to worry about the problems that I do have. Said the fact that I don't worry about me being blind, I take care of the other problems that I have, because if I worried about me being blind, I'll have my ass at home all day, every day,
Absolutely.
worried about me being blind. Damn, I can't see. I can't do this. I can't do that because I'm worried about blindness. Like I tell them, I don't give a fuck about blindness. Blindness is temporary word to me, because at the end of the day, like, like I told someone that has sight, I say, believe it or not, you do something blind every night. He said, I don't get it. I say, don't you wake up in the morning at night and you have to go to the bathroom? You'll walk to that bathroom and walk back to your bed without opening up your eyes in the morning. All you know is that you had to piss last night, right? He said, yeah. I say, guess what the fuck you just did? You just walked blind because you had your eyes closed. But I say, it's all about muscle memory. That's how us blind people, we know how to get to the damn bathroom. That's how, if you ever see us, we walking by ourselves and we know exactly what to turn at. It's called muscle memory. I say, in that thing y'all call a stick that we call a cane, those are our eyes. That's
Right.
why. That's why I just finished telling a blind friend the other day. I say, if you are ashamed of that cane is going to be ashamed of you. I say, if you do not embrace that cane, that cane is not going to save your life. That cane is not going to take you where you need to go in life, because you are ashamed of it. You don't embrace it. That's why every picture I take, I have my cane in my hand, because I want people to know, yes, I'm blind. I don't hide the fact that I'm blind, because I do not allow blindness to dictate me. I make being blind look damn good. And a lot of people tell me I make it look easy. Like I tell them, it ain't shit easy about being blind. It's all about your confidence. I say, yes, I have a lot of confidence, and I just never plan on giving up in life. And everything you just touched on, when you was talking, is very true, Aaron. And man, like, you know what you, man? Like, I just wish people would take the time to realize blind people are some of the smartest and strongest people in the world. Because the blind people that's out here living life, like they say right now, the thing that they say now, I'm outside. The blind people that's outside living life, we navigating this shit without sight or with limited sight, and we still having fun. Excuse me. Like all of these reality shows. Excuse me. I'm actually trying to get in contact with VH1 or one of the Zeus Network, because at the end of the day, I really do want a show called Blind Bosses and Blind Baddies. Simply because at the end of the day, I want them to understand we have a life just like other people have a life. If they have a show called Little Women of Atlanta, why the fuck they can't have a show called Blind Bosses of America, Blind Baddies of America, so they could see how blind people live life. They have shows about people that weigh 500, 1,000 pounds, 1,000 pound life, teen
Yeah.
moms and all this shit. Like come to our world and see how we operate. Like
Hmm.
put us in a big mansion with rooms and see how we
Hmm.
operate. That's
You know what? You are so right. You are so right. I think I'm going to give you a gentle hint, a gentle clue. I think we need to speak off air about that because I have a good idea, but I have to tell you about it off air.
okay.
But your brain and my brain are on the same wave. Um, you're very, very right about all these things. So how, let's go back to something too. You also said you're going to
Yeah.
make this documentary with your cousin. You're going to make a documentary, about your life, and I think that's a great idea. So the first thing to do is to really establish yourself in the space. Get onto YouTube, and once you set up your channel, I'm going to obviously connect this episode to your audience, and there's lots of different little things that need to happen, obviously, but certainly we'll get the channels connected so that my audience can see your audience and vice versa. But yeah, the first thing is to get onto YouTube, establish you, define you in the space is the first step, and then there's other steps in the step. But the first one is get into the space. Come on up, step up to the microphone, as we say. And then everything else might or could or should fall into place. Who knows? But you have a lot of good ideas. So and what would you do with this documentary? I mean, typically they're on YouTube, but where else would you want this documentary? And talk a little bit more about your documentary idea. Yeah.
My documentary idea, basically, my cousin, he went to school for film, and
Oh, okay, really?
he
Okay.
told me he has a friend, God rest his soul. He did a documentary about his life. He had muscular that condition.
Dystrophy, perhaps.
Yeah, muscular dystrophy. Yeah, that right there.
Yeah, it's a weird dystrophy,
Yeah, yeah,
muscular dystrophy. Yes.
he had that, and basically he submitted that to the short films, and he actually won a award for it before he passed away. And my cousin, he had a bright idea. He said, how about you do a documentary upon your life, and we submit it to that, to the short film awards, and see what it do. I said, all right, cool. Like, I do have a YouTube channel. It's up. I have 144 subscribers. But like I said, I'm in the process of revamping it because it's a lot of old um stuff on it. But like, we plan on going kayaking this weekend, and we're actually gonna start shooting the documentary while we're kayaking, like in the ocean, ocean where sharks and dolphins and shit at, and we just go talk. But um I want that um process of that. I want that to basically be a part of my life, and I want that to reach people, to let people know if I could live life, enjoy life. Like I tell people, a lot of people say they living life, but are they really living life? Because when you live life, you're supposed to enjoy life. Like, I want people to know I'm living life and I'm enjoying life. If I can enjoy life, you can enjoy life too. If I can enjoy life without sight, why are you miserable with sight? So, you know, that's that documentary. I just, like my cousin, he just came up with the idea, and like, he's supposed to be here now, and, but his flight got delayed, but, like, prime example with me and how I, how I text, how I send emails. He want to get all of this on the documentary so people could actually know blind people. Like I said earlier, blind people are some of the smartest people. It is because, like, I've met some people who've asked me, what am I doing with my phone? I say, I'm texting. They say, why is your phone talking? I said, because it's talking to me. And they said, are you a genius? I said, no, I just understand technology. They say, no, you have to be a genius. I said, no, I'm not a genius. And they said, you have to be one because you're doing that. I said, do you have an iPhone? They said, yeah. I said, can I hold your iPhone? They said, for what? I said, for to show you how I do what I do. So I cut their iPhone on voiceover. I say, touch your phone. And they say, oh, and they jump. They say, I can't do this shit. So me personally, I said, that's why I tell people a lot. The way we operate, the way our brains operate, this documentary will show everyone how a blind person's brain operate, meaning like how I maneuver life, how I get in the kitchen, I cook, how when on Monday or Thursday or Sunday night or Wednesday night, I get all the garbage in the house and I walk out to the trash can and I take the trash out. Because at the end of the day, like, that's a part of life. That's something that my mother taught me. A man is supposed to take the trash out the house. A woman is never supposed to take trash out. It's gonna show people how my brain operates because it's a lot of people who don't believe I'm blind. Like, for real. Like my brothers and sisters on my
Yeah, it's
daddy's
pretty
side.
common.
Like,
You'd be surprised how many people don't believe blind people are blind. That is, and I've dealt with that. I had, when I was a little boy, I had a teacher who didn't believe people could be blind. So, I mean, I've heard, you know, I, I've heard of that one where people just refuse to believe in blindness. That's a pretty common belief that more people hold that belief than what you would ever realize, or
yeah,
ever imagine. That's a pretty common belief, I guess, to believe that blindness is just a myth.
yeah,
Except, of course, it's only a myth until it happens to them. And then, well, I
yeah.
don't know what to do then,
Yeah, like I try to explain to people, man. Look, if blindness happened to me, it could happen to you. And like my family, I love them to death because they keep me on my toes every time I come
Right.
around them. Like, promise I'll be going to my sister's house real soon, and within the probably tomorrow or later on tonight. And when I walk inside of her house, people go be there and they go say, hey Clint." Next thing you know, I'm go here. Oh, that bitch right there, he ain't blind, boy. That bitch right there, no, he's not blind. He do shit that regular people do. I don't see how the fuck he do it. Where you just came from? How you got here? Uber? How the fuck a blind motherfucker catch a goddamn Uber? Like, it don't bother me because it's funny to me, and
You're
that's how I
right.
cope. That's how I cope with blindness.
I've
I
had to learn
crack.
to do that a lot more, how to
I,
appropriately respond to people and appropriately cope. And it's a practice. It's an art. It
yeah,
truly is, but there's, unfortunately, if I could sit here and say there will come a day when everybody will love you and just agree that you're blind and just not worry about it, that day will never come. So you, for the rest of your existence on planet Earth, will have to find ways of dealing with this and find ways of responding to society. And it's not fair, but it's you and it's life, and
yeah,
this happens. So that's how you're going to have to respond. I think the documentary is a good idea. The more you're talking, the more of an idea I'm having in my brain is coming up with someone who you need to get in contact with, and I know exactly who you should be contacting.
Be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
Aaron, like any other podcast you think could benefit from hearing my story, you could go ahead and reach out to him and link me up with him, and whoever whoever you feel like I need to be linked up with, link me up with him.
I'll show you later at a later date pretty soon though.
Okay.
I'll show you and explain. It is a podcast. Well, it's kind of a long story to explain all in one breath. It's kind of the type of
Right.
thing where I need to sit you down and say,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
this is the
Yes.
person, that type of thing. But yes,
Yeah.
certainly there
We'll
will be
talk about it.
there'll be other podcasts that will. The funny thing is about YouTube and podcasting, when you do it for 5 years, like I've been doing it now, coming on 6 years, the more meat and potatoes you have, the more meals you have on the menu, then you start attracting, other people from other countries, other disabilities, other life stories, people who like me who have had a totally different life experience than you, but still respect and still understand your past, present, and future.
Hmm.
But that's really you, and I just think you're really, not only are you on the right track now in your life, but you're doing even better than you would even realize. The fact that you came from everything you came from to come here to talk to Michelle, for Michelle to say, Aaron, and I'll, and I'm going to level with you, Clint. I'd heard of your name like around the Facebook groups. I've heard of the guy. I'd heard of a Clint V Aiken, but now I know him, and I'm so appreciative I do. So, until people say, you really should talk to this person, you really should do this interview, a lot of times you don't know until somebody else recommends somebody. And that's why recommendations and sharing is important, because it's how the right people find the right information.
Hmm.
But I've also had a lot of experiences in my life. So future podcaster, why don't I flip the microphone and say, so I'm sure you have questions about some guy named Aaron Richmond and Aaron's opinion. Ask all your
Uh,
questions. And when I tell you to really make me sweat, I mean it. Ask all your questions. What do you want to know?
what made you get into podcasting?
What made me get into podcasting? I'll tell you. From day one, so I was born blind, and that's the first thing we need to establish. So I was never sighted. I was born blind with glaucoma. And when I was a little baby, I had a lot of health issues. Blindness and a congenital heart defect and a lot of health issues to which I have to still deal with, to this very day. But from day one, my parents, we lived then, well, I'll discuss on the air where I live now, but then we lived near Washington, D.C., and we would drive back and forth to hospital several times a week for the first 4 years of my life. And my life was immersed. And I mean, my life from day one was drowned in conservative radio. It was just drowned in audio. So I've always understood audio from day one. Some of my fondest memories of my childhood, the first book my mother ever read to me when I was a boy, back in the 90s. Now, I forget if you're older or younger, but I was born in 91.
I was born in '84.
Oh, so you're okay, cool. So
Yeah.
you are,
So
so you're significantly older, actually. So, well, not significantly, but yeah, you are older than me. So I was born in 91. So for me, when I was a little guy in 98, the first thing I remember being read was, the Harry Potter books. So I always understood audio. Then I went through my life and, I graduated from university. I studied something I had no interest in, but I graduated with it. And then everybody was always telling me, Aaron, you really should be a broadcaster. You really should, be on radio and things like that. And unfortunately, had I been born about 10 years earlier than I was, I probably would have been able to get into the radio scene. But the thing is, by the time I came of age and by the time I was in my upper teens going into university, radio and broadcasting had really shifted around. And really what was going on was the birth of podcast was what was going on. I encourage you to listen to any of my episodes that you like or interest you, but I was speaking with somebody who now I am blanking on the name. I forget who it was, but it was somebody who worked in the radio. Goodness, now I'm forgetting now. But they worked in radio and they were talking about how radio has really changed and shifted around, So anyway, I got out of university and started teaching English as a second language. And I was talking all day because I love to talk. And I realized that there's a lot of blindness podcasts out there, but none of them are really, many of them were not receptive and reflective to my opinion. And that's a problem for me. So I went around Facebook groups, as you've probably done, and people would ask questions. Should I get a guide dog? Should I go to college? Should I do this? And I kept on creating audio files where I would say, hey, John, here's your answer. Hi, Susie, you want to know such and such. Well, here's the answer. And then over time, it occurred to me, wait a minute. If I record content for somebody else, that's a podcast. So that's how it began. And, the show has gone through several, iterations over the years and ups and downs, lefts and rights until we get all the way to you, to here. That's
Right.
the why.
Okay. Next question is, what's your biggest complaint about being blind?
My biggest complaint about being blind, well, I don't complain about being blind. I just complain about everything else.
Good answer, because that's my answer right there. Like I tell
Right.
people, I
Like,
don't
like,
complain
like
about being blind.
you say, I have 99 other problems. Blindness isn't one. That means you're going to overcome. That's what it's truly about in life. And that's why it's so good of you to have that philosophy. I know that philosophy will serve you very well for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I personally, I agree with you about what you were saying about the blindness community. There have been many issues that I've had with many people, and I've simply just had to move on. There's a whole section of society that you're never going to please. So never mind. There's a whole section of society who will love you and listen to you and support what you do. So pay attention to them. And that's the life
Right.
story. So you just have to figure out, well, who's your audience, and just basically point your antenna, point your message, send your rays, send your signal, send your happiness to them. And the people who don't want to know, well, that's on them. That's their karma, not yours.
Right.
And that's the life lesson for
And
sure.
that's what I'm actually realizing, people that want to take the time to get to know me, I appreciate them. People that don't, I ain't gonna say fuck them, but fuck them. Because at the end of the day, the people that got something against me, like I tell people, like I told someone 2 years ago when I started, 3 years ago when I started this whole transformation of, I just have to stop talking to everyone. Got inside a lot of blind groups and say, listen, I don't have a problem with anyone. If you have a problem with me, you have a problem with yourself. Say I'm leaving all of this beef and all of this shit about I don't like you, you don't like me, y'all never met me, you never saw me. I don't never met y'all, I never saw y'all, but how the fuck y'all don't like me?
Yeah,
So
it is strange. It's really weird,
right.
but they treat me that way too. They don't just treat Clint that way. They treat me that way too. Yeah.
And I'm beginning to realize they treat me and you like that because we not go bow down to them, and we're not going to jump on their team, and we're not going to agree with everything they say. We're not going to kiss their ass. And like I tell people all the time, I don't kiss ass. On the ass I kiss it's the ass that it's the ass of the woman that I'm with. And
Oh, okay.
that's literally, like, I will literally kiss her ass anytime. Like, not kiss her ass by letting her walk all over me. No. Like
Absolutely.
I just, like I tell people, like, I'm not, if you want someone that's going to be afraid of you, find someone else. Like, I'm not. Like, you tell me, I've had someone tell me straight up, like, when I catch you, I say, please do not tempt me with a good feeling. I say, when you see me, please do what you said you was going to do to me, because I'm going to go show you how good I know how to fight. I wasn't born blind, not trying to offend anyone that was.
Sure.
But, like I tell people, I wasn't born blind. So if you touch me, I'm going to hit you.
Right.
And when I hit you, I'm going to try to knock you out. And it's just, man, like, and like, Um, I could tell you like this though. If you ever catch me inside of a blind group and you just say something to me and everyone could be against you, I will go live inside that group and say, listen, Aaron got a brother for life with me. So if you don't like Aaron, you don't like me. So fuck y'all.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I really, well, you're going to be part of my group starting now, and
okay.
we'll also talk I know you mentioned you can send me later today the groups that you think I should be in, and when this goes out, the episode will be in both of those groups, and it'll be shown to the audience of people who care, and that's the most important thing. Is that the most important thing? Like I said, not only do you have to establish who you are within the space, but you also have to understand your audience within the space you are. So it's like you have to build you, and then you have to notice who listens, and then you have to respond to the listener. That's always a huge thing for people is you have to know who the listener is, and then you have to respond, and then that's how you build up. But I mean, just like anything else, it takes years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9, 10. It takes years and years and years to move up. And right now we are lucky that we're in the era we are where audio dramas and podcasting is just saturated. The whole universe is just saturated with podcast. So yeah,
And
that's what I can tell you. Yes.
I'm gonna recommend someone to you. I'll tell you off air if you want me to, but
You can tell
um
me off air, but we always say, who do I need to talk to next? And then we always work at getting me connected with the next person. But that's so good. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like he's a good friend of mine. He was born blind also. And be honest with you, you see how the broadcasting and stuff, like he went to USF, he graduated. He actually knows people in the broadcasting world with sports. And like
No, I think I know. I think I know him. I think I have interviewed him. Are you talking about Trent?
that's my buddy.
Yeah, I've interviewed him. He's great.
Okay. Because that's who I was gonna point you into next. Trent Richardson. If I'm not mistaken, that's his name.
Oh, I thought he had a different last name than that. Maybe I don't know him.
No. Trent. Matter of fact, he's from Florida.
Yeah, I think I do
Trent.
know him.
Trent. Yeah. Trent.
I forget his last name.
I
Trent.
said it.
It might be. I don't know. I don't know the name, but I don't know his. I forget too. But
Yeah,
yes,
I
that
forgot.
person. He's great.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my buddy right there. Like I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hmm.
I did a live video one day, and because I go live a lot on Facebook, and this live video, and I was just talking, and he came into my comments, and we exchanged numbers, and he told me we was just went to talking, and he was telling me that he was going to the Center for the Blind in Daytona, and I just told him, man, like, just you got this and all this stuff for here, and we had a relationship ever since then. So when I see
Good.
him going through life and him graduating college and him talking to whoever he talked to and him doing what he doing, I just come in, keep going. I'm proud of you. He do the same thing with me. So it's a lot more people who I will recommend you interview, like because I my interview this interview right here is it's you and Michelle, y'all interviews will be my top interviews, my best interviews, because I really did enjoy Michelle's interview. I'm really enjoying this interview because um y'all let me be myself. Y'all let me say what I need to say, get what I need to get out, and just it's no judgment, and I love that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That's really good. You can definitely help me to get in touch with the next person. And that's what it's also about too, building the network and continuing to pave the path forward for people. That's always what it's about. So what are some other questions you have, by the way? You asked how I got into it, and then we went off on that little tangent there, luckily. But what
Um,
other questions do you have?
what is your biggest goal for your podcast?
I don't know. The biggest goal for the podcast is to keep doing it. That's the most important thing that you'll learn about being a broadcaster is you have to keep doing it for years and years and years and years. You have to just keep doing it, keep on doing it until. So that's the goal. Keep doing it until, you know.
Right. You said you want me to make you sweat, so let me see. Uh, what's your biggest fear of life?
My biggest fear of life is, well, I mean, I don't want to say it's a fear per se, but I mean, we all deal with not knowing what the future holds. You know, there's a lot. I study what's going on all over the world, and there's a lot of uncertainty in society today. So that's one of my concerns is certainly one of my concerns. I wouldn't say it's a fear, but it's a concern is that I see that there's a lot of problems within our United States, within our society. So my concern is that society is going in the wrong direction and that we're going to, when we are older, much older people, we're going to be dealing with a lot of social problems. So that's one of my concerns is that we're going to see a lot of issues in the future.
Yeah. Got a couple of quick questions for you, like quick questions.
Sure.
Um, I don't know if you ever heard of drink pot uh Drink Champs podcast.
No.
Well, it's a urban hip hop podcast, and they call it um quick quick time questions. So like you know uh just an idea that I do have for my podcast. I'm gonna you know just ask you a couple questions.
Hmm.
It's like Democrat or Republican.
Me?
Yeah.
Republican.
See, that's something that I love about people because me personally, I'm a Democrat, and a lot of people can't talk about politics without arguing and saying this and saying that. Like at the end of the day, like me personally, I'm a person that will literally let anyone know politics is politics. Like we're not making the rules. We're voting. So I'm not for to sit up here and have a shouting match about something I
Sure.
can change. Um, mm, I'm trying to make you sweat, man. But no, not really. But no, like I don't know why. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm just enjoying the podcast to the point where like I got questions, but I can't think of any because like I'm just. You ever been so excited to the point where like you can't think of anything to ask someone? Like
Well,
that's how I am
well,
right now because
I
like
appreciate it, man. I
I'm
really
just
do.
excited that I'm being interviewed by you because like I told you, like I've been anticipating this.
Oh,
Like I
good.
told my cousin, he said, "Man, what you doing?" I said, "Man, I got a podcast interview." And he said, "You do?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "I've been anticipating this up for the past week, man." So I said, "Man, like I went to sleep early last night and I woke up on time." And I say, like I was just ready for it. But
You were you. I know. I appreciate that. I really strive to have guests that are ready, and your readiness will serve you well forever. You're ready.
yeah,
Yeah.
because me the person like when you hit me on when you hit me up on Messenger and I told you I plan on being on there at like 9:57. I'll try to get in here at 9:57 myself. So
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, yeah. I
but
think one thing that you'll notice is that your work ethic will really be one of your saving graces apart from your content and your ability and work ethic is something that people notice. They notice it subconsciously. When you either show up late, people notice. When you show up early, people notice. When you show up on time, people notice that too. But the most important thing, right? You're ready. So people who are ready are people who are going to move up in the broadcast space, and people who are ready are going to move up. So yeah, definitely. Hmm.
yeah, Are you a drinker?
Do I drink? Yes. Not every day, but yes. With good food, yes.
What's your favorite drink?
Well, it depends on what I'm eating. If I eat, I'll have a good beer. It depends on the food, and what mood I'm in, the weather, the temperature, my mood, what the meal is. But sure, yeah, I love a good beer.
So I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna tell you like this. I drank one beer in my life when I was in college,
Uh-huh.
and I can't stand the taste of beer.
It probably wasn't good. It was probably a college beer, probably not a good one.
It was a Bud Light,
Oh, well.
and I looked at my friend. I said, "This the bullshit everybody talking about? That tastes so good." I said, "Man, look," I say, "this tastes like piss." He said, "Man, how the hell do you know how to taste piss?" I say, "Look, I don't know how to taste piss." I say, "But yeah, I believe piss tastes like this." I say, "Man, look," and he was like, "Man, you." I say, "All right, listen, man, I'm a liquor drinker."
hmm
So me personally, uh, I always been with the brown team with the Hennessy, but when I was younger, Hennessy used to get me in trouble, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure it can. Yeah.
When that Hennessy get to talking to me, okay, cool. Like if you're a woman, like I tell any woman, oh, we should have a good time.
Right.
They be like, why?
Right.
I say, Hennessy in my system. Oh yeah, you finna get the life fucked out of you. But if you're a man, I'm gonna go look at you and I could be on Hennessy. Men used to look at me and be like, man, what the fuck you looking at?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
I let them, bro, listen, man, it's the Hennessy talking, bro. And I just had now, well, I haven't been drunk in going on 15 years now because walked into, end up getting rushed to a hospital and my blood pressure was 201 over 198. And the ER doctor asked me, "Are you having a stroke?" I say, "I don't know how a stroke feel." "Are you okay?" I say, "I'm perfectly fine." Why? He say, "Your blood pressure is too fucking high." He said, "Do you drink?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Stop drinking if you want to live." Like if you want to live, and had a long talk with my older brother Isaiah. And he told me, "You don't think I heard about all the times you in the club and you buying a bottle of Hennessy and you drinking it all by yourself?" I looked at him and said, "You heard about that?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't you think you drunk too much liquor?" I say, "Yeah, man." I said, "That's what the ER doctor says. He told me if I want to live, I got to start drinking." So I had quit drinking for like 10 years. I didn't have a drink. Then when I had my transplant, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I was afraid to drink. And my sister said, "You can have one drink." And now I probably have 3 drinks a year. But I don't know, man. Like I enjoy the small things now and then. Like my comfort food. You have a very comfort food.
I do. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I love food from overseas, from all over the world. I've traveled all over the place, all over the world. So I really like food from other countries and things like that. French food, Mediterranean food, food from Asia, food from Thailand, food like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
was going to
mhm.
be one of my questions to you. Where's the most? Where's the? Sorry about that. The favorite place to visit?
Well, I mean, I really love visiting France because I can speak French. So France and French speaking countries are really interesting. But it depends on the time of year and the purpose and the activity and what I'm going to do. So that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually know how to
but
speak.
it's definitely important to travel the world and to have a global experience like that. Um, but Clint, I can tell you that this whole journey that you've taken us on today, you're truly incredible, and you've had an incredible life so far. And I'm going to help you as best I can to get you into the podcast space so you can have a lot of success moving forward. Moving forward. Anyway, man. If somebody does want to get in touch with If somebody does want to get in touch with Clint, right, how can you be reached for now? We know that this will change when you build up your product, but how can you be reached for now if somebody wants to get in touch?
I do have an email line, but a boss 84 at gmail.com, or they could catch me on Facebook, Clint V Aiken. My YouTube channel, Blind Boss TV. Do have a personal cell and a business cell. Personal, well, I ain't gonna get my personal. My business cell is 754-367-8452. Um, Instagram is Blindy Badass at Blindy Badass. That's my Instagram. Um, yeah, that's about it. Well, TikTok is also Blindy Badass
Okay.
with ass Blindy Badass AZZ instead of AZZ.
We're gonna have to connect off air a little later today to make sure
Okay.
that we get, as we say in the business, this is something you're gonna hear a lot, and you have to know what it means when they say it to you. You have to click on it when they say, "We'll catch up later, and we'll get all the plugs." So
Yeah.
we'll catch up later, and I will get I'll get all the plugs. Well, either way, from this moment forward, I know that you're going to make the right choices, and I know that you're going to help way more people than you ever thought possible. I just want to say thank you for joining us today on Aaron's Opinion. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on. Your story is both true, interesting, fascinating, and just your outlook on life is a huge lesson to everybody in the audience. So I just want to say thank you. Do not hang up. I want to talk to you for another 30 seconds. Do not hang up, though. At any rate, everybody, thank you. Thank you for listening, everybody. Don't forget, he's Clint V Aiken, up-and-coming podcaster. We're definitely going to make sure the world knows who he is. I'm Aaron Richmond. You're listening to the Aaron's Opinion podcast. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Be well. And, of course, keep podcasting out there and keep succeeding. And until next time, don't forget, help one person today. Help 1 million people tomorrow.